What's up, everyone? So here we have Coach Jimmy Nelson, which is the man with the plan. Literally, that's what I have to say about this man. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for some time now, and when I tell you, I mean, he is literally a high performance business coach in just all aspects, whether it's selling more, whether it's your fitness or just feeling good and wanting to be around good people. He is literally the man for that. But I'm so excited. So Tommy, we were supposed to have Jimmy for the YPX, like the actual live YPXs. And since we transitioned over to after hours, he was still graciously willing to come on and share his knowledge with us. But
thank you.
Yeah, like and Jimmy travels all across the world. I mean, literally all across the world, speaking and sharing some stuff that he's probably going to share with us today. But what I'm obsessed about with him is his storytelling abilities, and not only his personal storytelling, but how he's been able to blend storytelling with business.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I've been using it in my real estate business, and it's been getting those agreements signed. And so it's legit stuff that I feel, if there was one thing that I could just share with the world, it's what he knows, because he's on this side. It's what he knows because it's just that phenomenal. So I won't take your shot anymore. Sorry, Jimmy, welcome.
I love it, man, to be here after hours. I heard the fire of the questions quickly, so I got a little nervous. But I'm sorry, we're going to start this off on an awkward foot, because junior mints are the greatest candy ever. You just have to come strong. You have to represent junior mints mixed with popcorn at the movies. That's my jam. The salty and sweet. Don't knock it till you try it. I'm about to change your life.
Okay.
Whenever the movies open back up again, like when we eventually can go back to the movies,
right,
your life will change.
Right.
Oh man, that's going to take a lot to sell me on that.
Yeah. It was an accident. It happened. I'm sure that's how like Reese, like peanut butter and chocolate, was like some accident that then somebody's life was changed and it became a thing. But man, guys, I'm stoked to be here tonight, and I've been looking forward to this all day. Chase and I met last week to talk about this, and just to come on here, hang out with you guys, tell some stories, talk about storytelling. I'm really excited.
That's right, man. We are thankful to have you on. As you know, you are speaking to a lot of real estate professionals right now here in North Texas, maybe even some that are visiting us from around Texas and around the country. We're in a bit of unstable times, a lot of uncertainty right now. What's some of the advice that you are giving to your clients specifically to see them get through this hard time?
Well, first and foremost, I have a heart for this industry. My parents have been a part of the real estate world for 30 years. So I've grown up in it, around it, watching it. And what you do, I have a huge amount of respect for that. It goes way beyond just selling homes, like just the security, the dreams that you make come true, just the security and the pictures that you paint for families and what that means. Dreams coming true. We're talking about people's lives. This goes far beyond brick and mortar. And so it's an industry that's near and dear to my heart. But I would love just to start by kind of explaining to people why I'm so passionate about this. It was in the first grade. It was in the first grade, I was exposed to the biggest addiction of my life. And I always get funny looks when I say, in first grade, your addiction, like, are you okay? But it was because in the first grade, my first grade class, I grew up in West Texas out in Lubbock, and my elementary school class were picked to do a Christmas musical. And this was back in 1980, early 80s. And man, there wasn't a childhood obesity epidemic back then. I was the fat kid in my class. And it was a Christmas musical called Too Fat for the Chimney. It was about Santa Claus not being able to get down the chimney. And I just assumed, man, I'm the fat kid in class. I'm going to play Santa Claus. But they gave the role to my buddy, Justin Martin, who was the skinniest kid in class. They put a bunch of pillows around him. And I'm like, what's up? Like, why does he get to play? Like, I finally am designed for something.
Right.
And it didn't happen. And what they did is him and all my buddies got to get in like 1980s, like Jane Fonda aerobics, leg warmers and headbands. And they were upstage doing a musical, doing the dance number, kind of an aerobics number. Yours truly insecure, fat little Jimmy, they put in these, like those onesie, like feety pajamas. They're all one thing that zips up this way that has the drop bottom in the back and the stocking cap that my granny made for me. And they pushed me down to the edge of the stage, and I sang the musical Too Fat for the Chimney. And right as that started, when I got those first few notes of too fat for the chimney, too fat, I was sold, because I got an emotional response from a peer group for the first time in my life that was ever positive.
There you go.
You know, I came from a broken home. There wasn't a lot of those when I was back then, the fat kid. And so from first grade on, I knew that I was supposed to be on a stage getting an emotional response from a peer group, from an audience. And it's crazy where stages have taken all of us, from a stage in first grade to, like Chasten said, traveling the world, being on physical stages. And now in the situation we're in, stages are more important and stories are more important than ever, because of the opportunity to look into a camera like this and connect with people all over the world. And I think with the real estate world, it's even more important because, like I said, you guys are making people's dreams come true. You have people's lives and livelihoods in their hands, and they want to know who they're connecting with is going to be there for them, going to be in that bunker for them, going to be there when things hit a rough spot. I don't want the agent that's going to tell me that everything's going to be smooth and perfect and nothing ever goes wrong with them. I need somebody to tell me a story. To tell me a story about a time that they struggled with something, that they overcame something. That way I know who you are, not who your brokerage is, not who the sign is, but who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
And so for me, that in first grade, it really started this quest of me trying to find stages. It was really funny. It's ironic that the minute you know you're supposed to do something, you know what God designed you to do in life. Usually a list of things in the back of your head tell you why you'll never achieve that and why other people are going to be more qualified than you to do that. And for me, it was my weight. It was being 100 pounds overweight. It was being from a broken home. It was finding myself in my mid-20s as a 3-time college dropout who had moved back in with my parents. And I had this moment where plan A wasn't working, life wasn't working, trying to pursue an acting career wasn't working. And I'd taken a shower that morning up in my parents' house. We moved to Dallas by this point. We lived on Rockwall. And I just stopped, wrapped up in the towel. And usually a dude that's 100 pounds overweight, that didn't have a lot of self-confidence, didn't spend a whole lot of time in the mirror jumping out of the shower. For whatever reason that day, man, I just stopped, and I didn't respect the man looking back at me in the mirror. And I just thought, dude, if you don't change, you don't take some control of your life and take some action, this is it. This is your life. This is where you're going to be the rest of your life. And I think all of us go through some spot in our life where we feel we were supposed to be further along, whether that's personally, whether that's in our relationships, or for many of you watching right now, maybe that's with your business right now. And you're like, man, I signed up with these big dreams. I signed up knowing that I had a heart for people, but I've just done the things that I'm supposed to do. I've done the open houses. I post, my listings, and why aren't people connecting with you? And I'm here to tell you that I truly believe that every person has a 7-figure story if it's well crafted. And what I'm doing is using my 20 years experience in acting and 13 years in business to really come alongside professionals like you with a huge heart and help you guys craft these stories to connect with that ideal audience.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So it sounds, from what I'm hearing, like that you found an ability to self-motivate. Are you finding with your clientele that people are finding this inner catalyst to change, or is it usually people being inspired by something else, someone else, an event, outside of themselves that helps them to turn things around? What are some of the things people should look for to seek out this motivation?
Man, that's a great question. And I feel like it's a little different for everyone. Sometimes it is something where you have, like me, you have that enough is enough moment, that time in the mirror where you're just like, look, I've been playing around with this, and you just got to be honest with yourself. Because what I got really good at doing is pointing fingers and saying, well, of course I'm not successful. Look at this person has this, and they have this advantage, and they have that. And somewhere along the way, I had to stop pointing at the things I couldn't control and literally had to point at the things only I could control. And I'm going to tell you, things didn't change. Like the day in the mirror right there where things shifted for me, I wasn't motivated every morning. My life didn't change every day, but it sent me on a journey to seek, to look, how are people doing other things differently? How can I maybe adjust what I'm doing? How do I rewrite my story in the middle of this, right? A lot of us think we've got to be in our 20s, in our 30s, and me in my 40s, like, oh, this is just who I am now. And I'm telling you, you can rewrite this story anytime. And sometimes it's something you do for you. I talk to people and work with people all the time that if I'm trying to motivate them about them, nothing happens. But I talk about being better as an example for their parents, doing something so they have more time with their kids, or having that thing for their spouse or their friends or their church or a cause. Some people are motivated. They move because of the difference they can make, because they don't want to let down somebody else. I think accountability is a huge piece in society that we're missing out on. And accountability only works if that permission is given. Man, if I'm your business coach or I'm your storytelling coach and I'm working on you with something and I ask for your permission to hold you accountable to your high performance things, to the level, to the standard that we've set, but at any time you take that permission away from me, we're just going to fight, because I'm just going to be annoying to you, as opposed to, all right, Jimmy's checking in on me. Jimmy doesn't want me down. Because what I'm going to ask you when you get mad at me, I'm going to say, hey, you talked about doing this to create an impact, to really change your city. Did your goals change? Because if not, I'm going to continue to remind you of that. And the minute you tell me I don't want that anymore, well, then if I want it more than you do, that's bad math, right? And then I can't be your coach anymore.
Yeah, that's so wow. I just literally had a little light bulb moment, because that was a little script in itself, you know, as we're dealing with like clients who may have been going one direction starting out, and then now it's like have the goals change and all that kind of stuff, which is neat. Maybe it was just a little personal moment. But what I'm very interested in knowing, Jimmy, is, you know, one thing about the storytelling, and I noticed how, you know, you kind of connected that story right there. And there was even people commenting like they're already in love with you and have built that emotional connection. But what do you say to that person who says, I don't have any stories, or what story do I tell? And you know, that's a quick common answer, right?
It's always, we all are always too close to our stories. Yeah. The things that we did, we don't think are a big deal because we did them. I've met people with the most amazing stories that they don't give themselves any credit, right? Because they did it. And because they did it, they just assume everyone else can do that. Whether it's a single parent story, whether that's a school story, a financial story, you know, sometimes it's just like, and they don't have to be these grandiose, I'm glad you brought this up, Chasen, because they don't have to be these huge $1 million stories or 100-pound weight loss stories. Man, just tell me a lesson of somewhere you kind of got punched in the face, you got knocked down, and you had to overcome something, or you learned a lesson, or it sent you on a journey to learn something. You know, I really do feel like a opening personal story is the greatest way to create immediate know, like, and trust with your audience. So if your audience right now is taking notes, you have 3 to 5 minutes in a personal story to do 3 things for me. To tell me why you're just like me, why we're just alike, why you understand me, why you're like me, why you're ordinary. You also need to tell me why you're extraordinary. You need to tell me what's different about you. What did you overcome? What did you figure out that I haven't figured out? Why do I want you to be my guide? Why do I need you in this situation? And number 3, I need to know why it matters to you. You got to show me your heart a little bit. I need to know this is more than just a job or a transaction. This is your mission. This is your calling. And I think each of us have a story we can tell that. And that story may not be a real estate story, right? It may be a first grade story. I tell another story a lot of times on my keynote speeches about after I'd lost my weight and got some confidence, I traveled to New York City to pursue my acting career. And at 29 years old, I tell a story about going into Times Square, but I wasn't going into Times Square to work on a TV series or a Broadway show. I was there to dress up in a stupid newsboy's outfit and pass out chocolates. And as I tell this story about what it was like to feel like I'd been in New York City for 3-4 years, and here I am passing out chocolates at 6 o'clock in the morning, and people aren't even acknowledging me as a human being. They're not rude to me. They're just completely ignoring me.
Sure.
And there I am looking up at all the movie posters and the TV shows and stuff. And I'm like, these were supposed to be my stages. What happened? It's just another story that I can talk about in my life that my audience is going to find themselves in my story. So Chaser, you might share a story that your audience doesn't have the exact same story, but they're going to remember how you made them feel, right? So if you talk about a time that you failed or you had to overcome something or you thought you should have been further along, even if I didn't go through exactly what you went through, in my head, I'm not thinking about your time through that. I'm thinking about my time through that. But I know that you can empathize with me because we've at least had that same feeling somewhere in our life.
You know, Jimmy, if I may kind of add on to what you're saying is great. Have you? So we just renewed Netflix because I was in the barber chair a couple weeks ago, and the barber had on, apparently it was like a new Michelle Obama documentary, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, let's check this out. So my wife and I we turned it on this past weekend. And Michelle Obama is sitting at a round table with, it's like 5 or 6 young ladies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this one young lady that she's sitting with, and she was a junior or senior in high school. And she says, now what, Michelle asked her, now what brings you here? And she was like, I don't know. You know, my parents, they both work. I've got 2 little brothers, and you know, I take care of my little brothers for my parents. My parents are both at work when I get home. So I leave school, I take care of my brothers, and then I go work a night job. And I just don't know, you know, what to do, or I feel insignificant. And Michelle Obama took that second to say, see, what you don't understand is what you just told me is what makes you so special. It's not this big grand thing, but it is completely you. It's completely you, and you're working hard, and that's going to shape your future. You're doing things that there's just not a lot of people that have that, you know, perhaps it's a burden or that responsibility put on them at such a young age for you know. So I was moved by that, just to see that yes, they made sure, those producers made sure to put that in there, because there was that little bit of storytelling, and it's just, the storytelling does go a long way. The best producers know how to do it. I watch documentaries more than anything.
So do I. I'd rather watch a doc. And as a you know, professional actor, I still love a good documentary and a story. And the one thing I want to add on that, the reason that's so great is, think about this. We're not attracted to if the movie opened, mm-hmm. and the guy already has the girl, and there's no bad guy, and he didn't fail, we're not into that movie.
Right.
And I don't understand why people don't realize that in their own lives, is we get caught up in this filter IG, my world is perfect, I close every deal, nobody tells me no, I've always been on the top. I don't relate with you.
Yeah.
I don't care about you. I kind of don't like you a little bit, right? Because it's like, all right, so you never went through anything. So I go back to that. You got to tell me why you're ordinary, extraordinary, and tell me your why. Is if you just came on here, if Chasten is coaching other agents, and he tells me, I don't know, I just showed up one day, got my license, started rolling money, everybody said yes, I'm like, you don't know me at all, dude. You know, and so there is that piece of, if I know you've struggled, if this little girl talks about that, like, your power, you know, the magic is, the message is in the mess. It's in what you had to overcome, or even what you're going through right now.
So, Chasten, I want to give you kudos real quick. All right. I think one of the reasons that you have so many followers is you don't just talk about all the positives, right? Like, what is Coach Jimmy telling us right now? I think so many realtors could learn from this. So many entrepreneurs who have to be all about social media could learn from this, because us as a realtor, we are naturally geared to talk about our successes. Just put a house under contract in 3 days. Just got this buyer under contract. It's like all these positives. And so we put out, and I actually challenged a lot of realtors. You know, I had a Facebook live stream last year, and I was like, look, the market is not great. Stop lying to the people, right? Mm-hmm. Let them know your struggles. Let them know you had a house on the market for 90 days. Let them know I don't think we're doing ourselves or our compadres any, let's just talk about self. I think it does make sense in marketing to tell a little bit about the unsuccessful stories. I think, what do you think about that sort of marketing, Coach Jimmy?
I think it's smart. I think it's a balance, right? If I'm always, so like I compare a lot of things to weight loss, because my background was my first business was in weight loss and fitness. If all I'm ever doing is hearing how you fell off the wagon, then I need you to be human.
Correct.
You tell me where you overcame something as well. But I completely agree with that, of like, hey, This is 90 days. We're in yes, that story, we're in tough times, but this is why I'm showing up every day. This is why I'm still grinding. This is what I'm still doing. This is what I can control. As your agent, there's a lot of things we can't control right now, but this is why. Because I'm going to tell you a time in 7th grade basketball where I chose to keep showing up and overcame something. That's where you can go back to another personal story. You can also use another great way to use stories is in testimonies of the people you've worked with before. Man, I know we're going to get through this because let me tell you about the Smith family I worked with 3 years ago. They had this and this and this, and we ran into this problem, but we got through it. Testimonies and stories are always also the greatest ways to handle objections. Somebody comes back at you with an objection of why they don't want to do business with you. I think the greatest objection handling is, I say this is my line all the time. Yeah, I don't know about that. All I know is, and I tell a story of somebody that had their exact same objection.
A good rebuttal.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that's too expensive. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I don't know about that. All I know is my buddy Wayne has 5 kids, and I just go to this whole story and be like, do you not have as much time as he does? Now, they might not always say yes, but they can't argue with their story. They can argue with facts and figures and stats and PowerPoints, but they can't argue with your stories, man. It's just, I have like this tool belt of stories that I go to, whether they're mine or people that I've worked with, and it just allows me to help somebody to kind of get over, whatever they're hung up on as well.
I do too, and it's not. It is a script, but it's not a script, right? It's like because it is a part of selling, right? We are to be armed with things to say for different situations. I think that we're not doing ourselves any favors if we are not arming ourselves with storytelling.
Yeah. And they say that an audience is 22 times more likely to remember something if you tell me it in a story. 22 times. And there's a lot. I mean, we're in a market where we're all trying to figure out how do we stand out. There's a lot of people that do what we do. How do we stand out? This is also an opportunity for you to really figure out what your niche is too. Where's that place in the market that's not being served, that somebody just like you? And I know some people get really nervous about that because they're like, well, I don't want to niche down. But if you become really specific about something, not only do you dominate everybody in that niche, you're going to have people on the outside of that niche that still are attracted to you. But let me know who you are as a person. Are you the agent that maybe you're really into sports? Chase can use his relationship as a huge Mavs fan and stuff. You're like, well, that has nothing to do with him as an agent. But it does, because it has to do with him as a human being, right? Like, I know where his passions are. I know if you guys follow Gary Vaynerchuk wants to buy the Jets, everything about his thing. Like, all right, he owns VaynerMedia, he's into wine, owns the Jets. Because we're attracted to people like that because we know more of them than just, I signed a deal, right? And so I get to know you as a person. And if you're bringing me value, even if I'm not ready to buy or sell a home yet, if you're teaching me something, if you're going to be specific about an area or happy hours or sports or cool movies or whatever, if I nerd out on the same things you nerd out on and you're teaching me something anyway, guess what? When I'm ready to buy a house, I'm already thinking of you because you connected with me on another level somewhere outside of that as well.
Right. Yeah, just because you're one of my favorite people now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, oh, you're good. And you're the first person I'm going to refer people to, even if I've never worked with you.
Right.
Because you're like, because they're telling, they're coming in, they're funny about something. They don't take themselves super seriously, or that's the motivation guy, or that's whatever,
So here's a story. Okay. And, so Jason will tell you, I'm never at a loss for words, but as you're speaking about this story pops into my head. So, probably 3 years ago, there was a lease lead, a very inexpensive lease lead. I went and met somebody over at a house. Her husband, her and her husband were there, and she had a couple of daughters in club soccer. I'm a club soccer guy. We spoke, like, some of the clubs that her daughter plays for, like, I used to play against, and they ended up not leasing that property. We friended each other on Facebook. I then watched her buy a house with someone else, not me. Yet 2 weeks ago, I got a referral from her. I'm like, I have to think that went back to the old, like, we connected on a different level. It was outside of real estate, yet I am a realtor. she did not purchase through me. And I think there may have been something else there. Maybe she went through a builder or like another friend. Yet she sent me a referral. Like, I'm like, how does that happen? Why didn't she give the referral to the realtor that, like, so it's, you all like, you just connect with people. You just got to try and do this.
And this is one thing I'm going to challenge. I know we all have bills to pay. We got to keep the lights on and stuff. But if you can really think long game with this, the reason I've been successful in business for 13 years is because it wasn't just the quick cash grab immediately. Those things will pop up where you can make fast, easy, quick money. But just as you're telling stories, as you're making these connections, it's a great example of play the long game. Play the long game, tell the story, make the connection, because you just never know. And that's why it all comes back around, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. Well, this has been great. Chasten, you got anything else before?
I'm not letting you get out of here yet.
I haze Coach Jimmy.
No, but he did tell me that he had something that he wanted to give everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've done is a lot of the tips that I've given now, I really put together. There's a 4-part, I guess, a formula that I use putting every good story together. And so what I've done is I put that into a free PDF for you guys. All you have to do is go to storywellcrafted.com. It's a 2-page PDF that's going to help you think of stories. If you haven't thought of stories yet, what kind of stories you're looking for. And then once you find it, how to craft that perfect story. And again, that's storywellcrafted.com. Pop in there, take that. It's a PDF you can keep on your phone, and you're good to go from there. And that way, even when you're out or you're about to have that listing presentation and you're thinking, I need a good story, you can pop open that PDF, do get a little memory jogger. Remember, oh yeah, I need to add these pieces in there, and hopefully it'll help you make a better connection and have a longer lasting impression on the people that you come in contact with as well.
For sure. I'm excited. Tell me that link one more time. I wasn't listening. No, I mean, I was listening, but I was like so engaged.
I was put in the chat box. Storywellcrafted.com.
Okay. Yeah. I was just so engaged.
I feel like everyone has a 7-figure story if it's well crafted. And that's really just, and it's been crazy how one thing leads to others. Like, I didn't realize all my hidden hours on TV series, touring the country, in acting classes, studying scripts would all inform me later how to empower people in the business world to tell a great, impactful story. Sometimes you don't know what life's prepping you for. And I thought it was this acting career. And what it ended up being, I'm impacting so many more people doing this than I ever would be on a TV show or in a movie. And I'm so thankful for the way things came out, because I get this same passion for storytelling, but I get to empower people like you guys and this audience, who then will impact more people. That it's just this domino effect. And they say, you want to live forever, learn and pour into somebody else and teach them to do the same. And this is how we create a legacy, is by pouring into other people and continue to teach them as well.
Other than salespeople, because, we're like, what are some of the other professionals that you like perhaps were surprised, like, oh, I didn't know I could coach, people over here in this industry? Like, that applies.
It's crazy. So I teach 2-day workshops, and I've worked with astrophysicists. I've worked with real estate agents. I've worked with pilots. I've worked with former Navy SEALs. I've worked with the guy that was the #1 triathlete in the world. Just people have stories, and they get to other sides of their career. Sometimes it's in their career. Sometimes it's after their career. And they want to share these stories, and it's the next phase of their life that they want to have an impact with. Just worked with a gentleman who Super Bowl champion and caught Peyton Manning's last pass in the NFL. Help him with his story, again, his next chapter after that. And so I love the fact that you asked that question, because I don't want anybody here listening to this and say, that doesn't apply to my industry. It really does. If you're in business, storytelling is the #1 tool that's going to set you apart. And it's going to create know, like, and trust immediately with your ideal audience once you learn how to do it.
It just makes me want to like stay up on my computer all night and like. No, honestly, because Chasten, I think Chasten's a video guy.
Yeah,
I do a lot of video. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what the algorithm or the saying is. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, a 1-minute video is worth like 10 million, I think.
Absolutely.
Crazy like that, right? And so I love doing video. I absolutely love it. Chasten kills it. I encourage a lot, all the realtors, all the affiliates that are watching this, if you want to succeed, if you want to push yourself, don't worry about making the professional video. Jump in front of the camera. It does not have to be perfect. Just get it done. Get it done.
And I probably trust you more and Chase is like me. We like some production value and we like things pretty. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this and connecting with your audience, it is already proven people trust this more than the super, super flashy thing that we all think we need.
Yeah.
You got a movie studio in your pocket.
Yeah. And don't overthink it.
No.
Don't overthink it. Yes, you have definitely visit storywellcrafted.com. Look to Coach Jimmy. Of course, I think our very own Skylar McKinley just dropped your one of your social media handles. Let's keep dropping that contact information. We want
the Coach Jimmy everywhere. You find me on Instagram, the Coach Jimmy. The website's the Coach Jimmy. So I just want to make sure that they got a chance to get that story format. But yeah, please holler at me because I respond on all platforms and I'm here to help however I can.
It's a blessing. Blessing to have you on.
Thanks, man.
Do we have like a fire round thing for him?
You mean lightning round?
Yeah.
I didn't know if I got on that after I came on here touting junior mints. I didn't know if I eliminated myself from that.
No, man. We don't discriminate against the people that like mints. That wouldn't be nice. All right. I got something. I can thank elfster.com for this. All right.
That was not a paid sponsorship.
No, it was not. No, it was not. All right. Coach Jimmy.
Yeah.
We have our lightning round. Here we go. You know what? This first one, I'm going to ask it anyways. It doesn't matter because you've taken control of your eating. Cake or pie?
Not control of your eating.
Cake.
You said cake?
Yeah, cake.
Okay.
It's more about the icing than it is about the cake with me, to be really honest with you. So
you're like a little kid.
Icing all day, man.
Yeah.
You're like those little kids that go and lick the icing off of a cupcake.
My mom used to get her birthday cake every year, had these huge like icing roses on the corner. All I wanted was I just wanted the rose.
Oh my God. I would throw up.
Whoa. Chase, are you not like a big sweets guy?
No, I love sweets, but like the thought of the glob of icing being in my mouth just
no, I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
Cupcake, just give me the top and you can have the bottom of the cupcake.
I need the whole thing like all in one.
All right. So next. Which trilogy? The Godfather or Star Wars? I shouldn't call it trilogy. Star Wars. Star Wars. Okay. Star Wars. Do you like the word dapper?
Yes, it's one of my favorite words. That's crazy. That's an actual. Chase, did you plant that
one? I didn't. Not at all. Nope.
Dude, that's one of my favorite words.
Okay, hold on. If I was gonna think of one because I watched a video of yours, and it was a Dumb and Dumber. Lloyd or Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey.
I was in Lloyd Christmas and what's the other guy's name?
I'm trying to remember. It was the Dumb and Dumber. Okay, which character was better in Dumb or Dumber? Jim Carrey or
Jack Daniels?
Yes.
I feel like Jim Carrey's like the popular answer, so I was gonna be like contrarian. I'd say Jeff Daniels, but I'm a Jim Carrey guy. I'll go with Jim Carrey, man.
All right. Let's get back to this because I was thinking of some others since we're like on that. Big dogs or small dogs?
Big dogs. No. Small dogs aren't dogs.
All right.
They're
wait, what?
If you can put it in a bag, it's not a dog. I just look at it that way. I'm sorry.
Okay, I had to go back and make sure I heard that. All right. How often is it healthy to cry?
Healthy?
This just got real deep. Okay.
Once a quarter? No,
that's about right.
Right.
No, maybe that. I don't know if that's too much.
They say it's healthy, but if it's a daily thing, I think you need to. And nothing wrong. Find some therapy. Like there's things going on in there.
Okay, y'all.
It's after hours, Chase. And there's no.
That is right. That is right. All right. What's your favorite I'm sorry. Here it is again. What's your favorite carb? Bread, pasta, rice, or potatoes?
Rice. I eat rice every day.
Oh, okay. If you could ask God one question, what would it be?
Oh, wow.
I know he just got
super deep.
Like, oh my gosh. Whew.
What are the point of house flies?
I got one. What's the deal with hornets? Just what's the deal with them?
And did those already go away? Was that just a news cycle?
The murder hornet? Yes. Yeah. Like, what was it? I'm telling you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist generally, but I feel like these things like fly in to detract us and it's like sleight of hand. Like, look over here. Something else is happening over here. They're gone. I don't know.
Gone, right?
I don't
know. A lab made them and then put like homing beacons to pull them back in once we had our news story. Now we're getting real conspiracy theory.
And they make movies about this stuff for you to think that it's just a movie and not think that it could ever happen. Oh, that's just a movie. Meanwhile, it's actually happened. See, no, I can get deep with that. Call me what you want, but
all right.
Art imitating life, chased him.
Yeah.
Ford or Chevy?
Ford. Mustangs.
Yeah. Versus the Camaro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, Camaro, did I get that wrong? I could have said Corvette, shouldn't I? I shouldn't have said.
I mean, that is too. I still go Ford. Ford Mustang's classic, man. 1967 Ford Mustang.
Ooh, muscle. All right. Well, I don't know why this one, this questionnaire of Elster had so many food related. With that, I'm done.
Cool.
There was another one for food. I was like, no, I think we've touched on that enough. Like,
all the food ones.
Right.
It's because you started with food and talking,
I don't mind. We'll talk food. So
that story.
We'll talk food.
But awesome, Jimmy. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a blast, guys. Thank you. Anytime to come back.
Definitely, everyone go and download that that guide PDF he put together. Because he's made a world of difference in just my career, and I know if you move to that next level with him, he'll do the same for you. So thank you again, YPX After Hours.